I have nothing to say.
Hello and welcome to the making of Hats Off to Charlie Hall. I thought I'd do this and give you a little insight as to how much work actually goes into one of these things I do. At the 2023 annual Laurel and Hardy in Wigan, I premiered a film which was the beginning of a series of documentaries about Laurel and Hardy's supporting actors. Just 3 days after the 2023 Laurel and Hardy, on the 5th of September, I started work on the next film, Hats Off to Charlie Hall. The first thing I had to do was alter the opening title sequence, which I'd created for the Mae Busch film. The title sequence I created features other supporting actors that will eventually feature in the series. I wanted it to be a recognisable opening sequence, a bit like what you get with a telly programme. At the end of the opening titles, the curtains reveal a classic scene from the featured actor.
This is more than I can stand.
You'll see me there with the Wigan Council polo shirt on. That's because when I do my work on the films, it's always in between my shifts, because I do a split shift, you see. So I'll do a run in the morning and a run in the afternoon, and any time in between is spent doing all this stuff. The first major job I decided to do was boot up my PC and research Charlie's filmography. I went on Google, then followed various sites to get as much accuracy with the filmography as possible. I then copied and pasted the filmography into a Word document. Then I wanted to just highlight Charlie's appearances in Laurel and Hardy films. I knew many of them already, but there were quite a few where Charlie's scenes were very brief. Lord Heath's website came in very handy. That helped me to locate Charlie in those obscure appearances and saved me a lot of time finding them all myself. Next, it was time to put together a video compilation of all of Charlie's Laurel and Hardy film appearances. Doing this saves me some time later on when it comes to editing the film. I've got digital copies of all available Laurel and Hardy films, so I dragged 47 of these into my editing program and had to go through each of them to find all of the scenes featuring Charlie. Now this bit took me quite a few days. The next task, the most important one, was researching Charlie Hall's life story. Fortunately, a splendid chap called John Uller, who's from Charlie's home city of Birmingham, had already wrote a biography. Again, this saved me lots of time, as there was so much information in this book. It was a complete backbone of the personal story of Charlie's life. Now I like to get a person's life story in chronological order. To do that more accurately, I created a timeline information table where I input a specific year and any information that relates to it. I started work on the timeline in October 2023, and like I mentioned earlier, all the work I do on the film is done in between my shifts at work. But halfway through getting the timeline done, work on the Charlie Hall film came to a sudden halt. On Monday the 23rd of October, after my morning shift, I suffered a serious heart attack at work, and it was nearly game over for me. Well, as you can see, I did survive the heart attack, but at the time I had to have 3 months off work and I had no energy and no motivation whatsoever to get this Charlie Hall film finished. I just needed time to recover, really.
I brought you some hard-boiled eggs and some nuts.
In February 2024, I returned to the Hats Off to Charlie Hall project. I finished off writing the timeline, then I began turning all the information into a storyboard. Basically, getting my mental vision of the Charlie story written down. It took me another few weeks to write the storyboard. I'd then read through it all, visualising how it would look on screen and if what I'd written made sense. And if it didn't, I'd rewrite bits until I was happy with it. Eventually, I was happy with the storyboard. It was then time to recruit some volunteers to appear in the film. I appealed on good old Facebook and got a few regular faces on board, plus a few fresh faces. I then set up a new WhatsApp group for the members of the production team where I could discuss fees and share copies of the storyboard and allocate parts of the story to everyone. It was now time to get some actual filming done. The Dirty Work Pictures film crew hit the road and headed down to our first filming location. Fortunately, the UK convention was taking place in Birmingham. This was an ideal opportunity to get as many interviews as possible. We were limited to where we could film everyone, so rather than have everyone appear on the same set, I took along my new pop-up green screen and my lights. I appointed Julia the role as behind-the-scenes camera person. First up was the legend himself, Liam Muldowney, who'd appeared previously in Hats Off to Mae Bush, Laurel and Hardy's Road to Laughter and 2000 Strong.
In Hollywood at the time, and the studios were getting really pissed off with their actors.
And then there was doing the prohibition was going on, so there was a lot of
Illegal stuff and all that sort of stuff.
Liam is always a true professional. He always knows what he's talking about. He even gave up his valuable convention drinking time to get this done.
Going back to America, what about the scandals of the time of 1921?
1920, 21, 22, 23, there were so many Hollywood scandals at the time.
Then I managed to drag John Burton Jr. away from the bar to get his parts done.
Right. Mr. John.
Do you want me to look at you while I'm doing it? Or?
Just so
I'll
looking into the camera, yeah. Because I never even thought of it, haven't you?
This is John's first appearance in one of my productions.
How much do you know about Charlie's early film career?
I know that he said that he was he played in Jess Lasky's films and.
Next up was Carlisle's very own George Cullen. At last.
Do you want me to say something like, or should I leave that? Should I make it sound more factual? Because I was going to say the rumour was Charlie left school and worked straight with his dad, but this was not true. Or do you want to go straight into Charlie's father, Thomas?
Ignore rumours, just skip rumours because it's a rumour.
Yeah.
So try and get as factual as we can, so just guessing stuff.
Yeah.
With just enough time to get one more interview done before we got back to enjoying the actual convention. That was with another new face to Dirty Work Pictures, Joris from Belgium.
So Joris, why do you think Charlie Hall was an asset to comedy films, in particularly Laurel and Hardy films?
Well, because he was really a funny man. His little.
This wasn't the first time we'd heard Joris in a Dirty Work film. Joris narrated a Flemish version of Laurel and Hardy's Road to Laughter in 2021.
De dikke en de dunne. Misschien het meest bekende en waarschijnlijk het grappigste filmduo aller tijden.
Well, my favorite moment is the sequence with the barrel of lard. The boys put a barrel of lard on his head.
That was as much as we got time to do that day, but it was a great start to filming. I got quite a lot of footage in the can. Now, believe it or not, I don't actually like being in front of the camera, me. But because there's so much work to do with the Charlie Hall film, I couldn't ask any more of anyone else who'd already volunteered to help. So, I thought I'd do quite a few bits myself. Take one, this. Let's see how this goes. So, what number are we on? 7:15.
And we're recording?
The following day, it was Julia's turn to go in front of the camera.
15.
So good luck. Action. I did have someone else lined up for these parts of the story, but they could no longer make it due to personal reasons. Julia's much better looking anyway. After we'd got her filming done, we went on a well-earned holiday. Just 2 days after getting back from our cruise, I drove back down to Birmingham for a couple of days of filming. On the first day, I went round the Ward End district, capturing aerial footage of the area where Charlie was born. The following day, I met up with Charlie Hall's biographer John Uller and his good lady Mandy Finney, where we spent the day filming all the links relating to Charlie's life in Birmingham. Today, it was Mandy who was given the job as a behind-the-scenes camera person.
Just talk a sec, John. I just thought, okay, hang on. I've not turned that on.
Oh, it's amateur hour here.
We started at the church where Charlie was baptised.
Okay, here we are at St Margaret's Church, Ward End, where Charlie Hall was baptised. Bollocks!
Then we went to several other locations. We spent a good few hours in what was a very rare hot summer's day.
Come on, job.
Okay.
Now we know. I'll tell you when.
I'll tell you when.
I'm the boss. We're waiting for all that noise to stop.
The last scenes were shot in John and Mandy's back garden. We were trying to get these done at the Charlie Hall pub, but that area was too busy and the traffic was too loud.
They sent them all a photograph, they agreed it would make a great name, and so the Charlie Hall was opened. After all that, got it wrong at the end.
After another successful day's filming, we had a bite to eat in the Charlie Hall pub, then I headed back home to Wigan later that evening. A few days after I'd been to Birmingham, me and Julia were back out on location for another afternoon of filming at Anton Joe Mitchell Waits in Newcastle-under-Lyme, the headquarters of Midnight Patrol Films. First, it was Ant's turn to sit in front of the green screen.
Right, camera's rolling. So far, so good. So, what do you know about when Charlie went to America on that big boat? Just named that before. Big boat? Yeah, I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, Charlie was the grumpy landlord for the first time in Leave 'Em Laughing. If Charlie was suspended from the Harrow Studios, he did manage to get his job back or get re-employed by the studios upon his return to America.
Next, it was Joe's turn.
Is that a good test? About here?
Yeah.
She's been the voiceover on all of the documentaries I've produced so far.
Charlie Hall.
Joe does a great job.
It's all about Charlie Hall.
As well as recording all the audio narration for the film, it's always good to capture Joe on camera too, because it's guaranteed there'll be some classic outtakes.
1966 at the Motion Picture Hospital. .5. So I'll
appear with
I'll get rid of it in a film.
I always try to keep Joe's narration until the very end, because if I've missed anything in an interview or something doesn't quite work right in the interview stage, I can write a voiceover for Joe which keeps everything tied together and, most importantly, makes sense to the viewer.
Charlie Hall was a carpenter and a comedy actor. He worked in film and television between 1923 and 1956. They were also a tribute to Charlie Hall, The Little Menace.
Yeah.
Yay!
That's right.
Very good.
The following day, back at home, it's on to the final edit.
Look at the film Big Business, for example. He's literally a background character.
One thing I haven't mentioned is after each person has been filmed, I then get back to the computer to edit a first cut of each section they all appear, and in order of which part appears when. It's like a 5,000 piece jigsaw. Having filmed everyone against a green screen, I now need to remove that and replace it with a suitable backdrop.
You can put you on any backdrop you want as well.
I know, I'm worried now.
For Liam, I chose a nice Irish pub. A telly studio had to be where I end up. Julia's favourite colour is purple, and as for John Burton Jr., his favourite place is a pub. One tricky thing with doing a documentary film based on a story from so long ago is finding visuals to go with the narration. Every time Jo speaks, I need to cover her voice with either an image or some film footage.
On the 12th of January 1920, Charlie set sail from Liverpool on board the SS Carmania.
I then spend even more time borrowing images and video footage online. Charlie Hall appeared in other films without Laurel and Hardy, so I had to find a few examples of those as well, and go through each one until I found the scenes he featured in. When we get to the point in the story where Charlie is now featured in Laurel and Hardy films, I can now use that compilation I made right at the start. So finding those clips to add to the edit is now much quicker. After almost another month spent editing, I get to the final touches, where I add captions, background music, and making sure the audio levels are all the same, and of course an end credit sequence, the music to which is called Gangway Charlie. How many of you spotted that one? Finally, the file is ready to export. A few more clicks on the computer, some time to render, and then the director's cut of Hats Off to Charlie Hall is complete, 54 minutes long. The original idea was to premiere this at the Birmingham Convention in May, but due to my health setback, that didn't happen. However, on Thursday the 1st of August 2024, I showed the film for the first time at Laughing Gravy's tent meeting.
Tonight is a preview of it, and it's the director's cut. It is 54 minutes long, and it's that long. I was aiming for 30 to 40 minutes, but it's 54 because Charlie appeared in 47 Laurel Hardy films, and we get to see a clip from every one of those 47.
Hey!
Anyway, let's get it going. Hats off to Charlie. Thank you. I hope you all enjoy it.
It was good to see stars from Hats Off to Charlie Hall attend the preview screening. John Uller, Liam, Anton Joe were there to see it, as was Charlie Hall's great niece Jean Cook. She absolutely loved it, and she got quite emotional at times. Right, so there you go, the making of Hats Off to Charlie Hall. I hope you enjoyed that little insight as to how much work I actually put into these films. I'm sure you did already, but at least now watching this, it gives you a little bit more of a picture of what I actually do. Now before I go, I just want to thank everyone who took part in starring in Hats Off to Charlie Hall, because without you lot, this film wouldn't exist. So a great big thank you. I owe you all lots of drinks. So when I'm a millionaire, I'll throw a big party. See you soon.